Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Daryl, and today we're going to be going around to a couple junkyards up near the Maryland-Pennsylvania border. We're looking for a Mustang II front end, basically, to put on the 51 Ford pickup, and I don't have big hopes of finding something at the junkyard because it's a popular thing that guys want to use. But anyway, we're going to go do some picking around and see what we can find. So I'm driving up to my buddy Dan's, and we're going to pick him up and head up to the junkyard. So we'll see what happens and see what we can find. Well, the junkyard tour, we went to two. One was, I don't remember the name of it, but it was not anything, nothing very good. There were certainly no old cars there, and there were very few new cars. So it was a small junkyard that used to be really good and had a lot of stuff for old cars that you could pick from and use on your hot rod or old car. But those, the owner had passed away and everything got crushed and my buddy said that there were several acres of cars. And so that's unfortunate. Nothing to speak of there to pick from. Nothing as far as Mustang II front ends. In fact, there were very few Fords even there. A few Camaros and some SUVs and trucks. But that's the extent of it. So we went to the second junkyard. I think the name was Eichenberg's. And they had more cars. But again, they were still late model. I think some of the oldest ones were late 90s. We found about 3 or 4 Mustangs there, Fox body, but they were just too new. And the front suspension was what I was looking for. Those particular cars had shock towers, and that just won't work. So we're back in the garage today. It's the next day. And let me show you what I've been working on. So we blew apart the rest of the truck, pulled the engine, and starting to dismantle the front end suspension. And so the leaf springs and this suspension is pretty crude. It's not what I'm hoping for in the long run. So we're gonna take a look at some parts, probably from Speedway Motors. I ordered a Mustang II front bracket, so that's going to get mounted across here, and so that'll allow me to then add the suspension parts for that style of independent front suspension. So this axle is going to go away. These leaf springs in the front are going to go away. These motor mount brackets are going to be cut out. Take them out, draw out these rivets. The old upper shock mounts are going to be going away. So it's going to be a complete new front end. The steering column, that's going to be removed because the new steering is going to be on a Rack&Pinion system. So I'm looking forward to doing that, but I got to talk to the tech guys at Speedway to make sure I get the exact parts that I need. The kit that they have will, I guess with the stock spindles, lower the vehicle, I think 3 or 4 inches. Plus then I'm going to get spindles with a 2-inch drop. So I'm hoping to get about 6 inches of drop, and that will bring the truck down to the level that I'm looking for. When I had the truck outside, I measured to the running board mounts to the ground. It was unlevel, but it was about 13 inches. So I'm hoping that after all these new parts get on for the front end, and I'll show you what I'm doing in the back and the rear end, I'm hoping that the running boards will be about 5 or 6 inches off the ground. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. And the reason is I want to get this thing lowered so that I can put the truck underneath my lift. And the lift is, I don't know. You can kind of tell. I got to drop it about 5 or 6 inches just to get it underneath the lift. So that's going to be for the winter. And then my 55 Chevy is going to go to a friend's garage for storage. I'll keep the 34 Ford up on the rack, and that's going to stay in the garage. And my 61 Chevy box, my square body pickup, is going to stay out in my driveway. But as far as the rear end goes, I've got the step notches finished, and I started to take some of the leaf springs off, and I got the rear end out of this. I didn't check out what the classification is of this rear end, but it's original from the 51 Ford pickup. I don't know what the gear ratio is. I just haven't looked. But my thought was to put a Ford 9-inch rear end just for more stability and to beef this up. So, I'm hoping that it'll work out better. And there's my little doggy Gracie. Come on, Gracie. I guess what I'm going to do today is clean up these leaf springs, and I'm going to be removing, I believe, every other leaf so that the rear end will have a little bit more give to it and create a little bit softer ride. I'm never going to be hauling anything in this truck, and so it doesn't have to be strong enough to carry heavy stuff. So yeah, it's coming along. See what else. I've been working on cleaning up some of these parts. These are all for the front grille, front end. These go back behind the grille, basically behind the headlights, and this is the centerpiece of the front end that the hood comes down onto. So, and then the mechanism to lock it in place. And then these are the other two main pieces for the grille. And I'm working on cleaning up these kind of teeth that are part of the grille. So I got to get these things kind of straightened up. good enough to store and get out of the way, because we're going to need a little bit more room out in the garage. So things are coming along. Still a lot of rust. There's the hood. That needs a lot of work. And certainly the cab. So for now, I'm going to leave the cab on as I go through the frame and add extra supports, clean off the rust, and use acid to take away some of the rust and neutralize it. And the front end is going to be my main focus right now. So that's where we're at. Well, that wasn't too difficult to get off. I guess the only thing I've got to finish is getting the steering linkage off, and I can get this axle out of the way, and then work on getting these leaf springs off the front. Right, gear forward. Looks like it's get my impact wrench after. Spin this thing off. Alright, that's it. Baby's on there. I'm gonna break loose and reflex. Let me get my glasses on. Okay, we got some heat. Propane give this a try. Don't really want the thing to explode in my face. The bolt, that is. So we'll heat this baby up for a few minutes. Heat is usually what's the most effective. It breaks down the rusted resin, but this is a pressure fit. So this need to expand out this steering arm a little bit. Just not slip off. I don't really want to destroy this steering box. Let's go take that out. I did. Excellent. All right, then we're having 3 box. All right, 3 box. All right, wait. That's hot. Okay, next thing, gonna be leaf springs. I believe the best thing to do, these are all, these mounts are riveted in, so I think we're gonna take these rivets and cut the heads off and try to punch them through. So it looks like there's 2 in the back, 3 here in the front. And then we'll get the steering box out of the way. So let me get my cutter, I'm gonna put this weight in my handle grinder cutter, aka the death wheel, and we'll get started. Get it out of the way. See if interested to buy it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace for a few weeks, and if nobody has interest, I'll take it to the metal salvage yard and get some money for the raw metal. All right. Let's see if we can do some grinding here. And I'll try to get set up here so you can see. That's better. All right, we'll start in the back. Power. There are a lot of rivets. I think there's 4, total 4 on the back, leaf spring mount, and by at least 3, probably 5 on the front. So let me just try to get these off and then I'll get back to you. Well, today's been a productive and destructive day. I got a lot done on the front end, and it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours working on getting these leaf springs off and separated, and almost preparing for the Mustang II front end Crossmember. So that the Crossmember was ordered and ordered yesterday from Speedway Motors, and I don't know when the delivery date is supposed to be. Sometime this week probably, because it was in stock. So I've got to do a little bit more work on the front end to get ready for it to be welded in. So everything has been removed except these the mounts from the old engine. The motor mounts are right here, but these have to go. And the Crossmember is going to basically, let's see, right here was the bump stop for the old suspension. So we're going to be centered with that with the Crossmember. So these mounts or these brackets are in the way. I got the old leaf springs off, but I didn't take all the brackets off. At least I'll have to take these off in the back, and I didn't bother yet with removing all the rivets to get the brackets off. The front leaf spring shackle mount is going to be fine just the way it is. I'll clean that up. Got the steering column removed, and let's see what else. The steering box. So that was a little bit of a chore. Here's the old front end, and like I said, I'm going to put it on Facebook Marketplace or try to sell it. If anybody needs one, I have one cheap. It's and the bolt pattern is 5 on 5 inch lug spacing. Yeah, so I'm happy about that. It was a lot of dirt, and it's like every time I bang or cut on something, all kind of rust just drops from this truck. It's a rust bucket. On the rear end, I got the leaf springs separated and removed, and picked out the best springs or leaves, I guess. And I think I'm going to go with this. I know that some guys have taken the originals and removed every other leaf, but I'm going to try this. And the rear end is still in the condition that when I removed it, so I'll start cleaning that up. And that's if I do not get a 4 9-inch rear end. But I have a buddy that's looking around for one for me. So if you can find one with the same hub-to-hub spacing, it is 60 inches from each hub. That hub to the opposite side. So, yeah. If anybody knows where there is one available locally without going to a junkyard, let me know. So this is the latest status. It's a self-driving truck right now. Next thing, I gotta pull out the gas tank because I'm gonna be putting in a tank back here on the back deck. And let's see what else. I gotta put in new floors. Got this one cut out pretty well. That driver's side's gotta be cut out. And then, I don't know, there's so much to be done. The hood, I'm gonna sand it down, evaluate it to see if I can salvage this one. I think I can. I may need more support towards these back brackets because this back end flexes a little bit too much. Yeah, so that's where we're at for today. And we'll wait till the Mustang II Crossmember comes in, and we'll do some videos on that. I received a notification from FedEx that a package has been delivered to my front door. So let's go see what it is. Okay, it's from Speedway Motors. Oh, this guy's taking a little nap. Speedway Motors, I think I know what it is. Let's take it in the garage and see what we have. If this is what I just ordered, like less than 24 hours ago. It's amazing that it showed up at my front door this quick. Now, let me see. Packaging looks adequate. Let me cut this one apart. Yeah, it looks like the Mustang II Crossmember. This comes in 3 pieces, the 2 shock and spring mounts, and a Crossmember. Man, I can't believe how quick this came. Amazing. Let's see. So we got to check out all the instructions, but it's going to be roughly coming from the bottom up. Let's see if it, how close it fits. We're gonna have to trim off some. Well, these 2 old brackets have to come off, and so after we get it fitted in place, these guys, these shock mount. Let's see, where are we gonna go? Looks like I'm gonna have to look at some diagrams, but you can see it's pretty good quality workmanship. And it also has a built-in angle for the appropriate camber on the wheels, and which will avoid a bump stop. But as far as quality goes, it looks great. Decent weld. These welds have been ground down. These are nice pieces. The other one looks great. I wish I could weld that good. So yeah, so that those mounts look good, and the main bracket, nice, looks very good. We got the lower control arm holes drilled, and the front, the mounting bracket for the steering rack and pinion is ready. They had this side slotted for, differences in hole locations for different rack and pinion units. So yeah, I'm really pretty happy. So the idea is to get all this rust removed off of the frame. That was my intention today, to work on cleaning all this stuff up, checking out the instructions, making sure that I don't mess something up, but these brackets are going to be removed, and then prep the frame for the crossmember mounting. So yeah, there's a lot of rust, a lot of junk, and the same goes for the back on the step notches. They're pretty much done, but the rest of the frame has to be cleaned up. And then also the leaf springs. I'm going to go with a total of 5 leaf springs, and I have to buy some of these clamps, and probably maybe 2 on the inner part and 2 on the outer part. So that's the job for today. Included with the crossmember are all the instructions for installing 48 to 52 Ford pickup Mustang II crossover crossmember. So diagrams, looks like they're using a reference point here to the mounting point, and that reference point is, let me get down here. That reference point is from this bracket. There are three rivets measuring from the very top rivet back to this top rivet. Wait a minute. Yeah, that rivet to rivet, that says 17 1/8 inch, which it looks more than that, but maybe. And so that's the reference point right here. Let me get a tape measure, verify that. So from this top middle rivet, this, I have 17 3/4 from rivet to rivet. They're saying it is 17 1/8. Now it's off somewhat. But that rivet is used for the front axle line. Alright, so the camber, the alignment specs say that the camber is a 1/2 degree, caster 1 degree, caster, so 1 degree positive for manual steering, 3 degrees positive for power steering, and the toe in an 1/8 of an inch, plus or minus an 1/8. So I'm going to be using power steering, so the caster is going to be 3 degrees, and camber is a 1/2 degree. So that'll be determined when I install the rest of the Speedway Mustang II front end suspension, and that's going to be, well, I'm going to order that probably in about a week, just because I need to get a little bit more money in my account. It's not cheap. There's a kit available for the complete kit plus a few miscellaneous parts, like bolts and spacers for the rack that mounts onto the crossmember, things like that. So it's going to be, and I think shipping is included. Shipping on this this Crossmember was free, and it may be because location where it came from, I don't know, but I was happy about the free shipping. But the shipping on the rest of the suspension, I'm guessing it's going to be a couple $100, just based on the number of parts and the weight and the volume. So I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit less. I hope it's less. But in any case, it's still going to be about $2,200 for the rest of the front suspension. And that includes the brakes and hubs, upper and lower control arms, the rack, and miscellaneous parts. So it'll be, I'm just not ready for it yet. And when time comes, I'll include it in maybe another video. Maybe this one. It all depends how long this video is getting to be. So let me get started on derusting this front end.
It's time to do some prep work on the back of the frame. Not my favorite thing to do, but it's got to be done.
So you can see we have a whole lot of this to do. So I'm gonna continue with this and get back to you. We got the mounting brackets removed, and I had to dissect them, take them off in sections and trim off as much as I could. I couldn't take them off using, punching out the rivets. The rivets are just a pain to get out. So instead of drilling forever and ever, I decided to cut that and cut away at this other side because I'm impatient. But the leftover bracket within the C channel is going to help with some strength. This is going to get boxed in before the cross member goes in. So I'm going to box in from far forward as possible, and the instructions said that at least 18 inches behind the mounting point of the cross member, but I'm going to go back as far as I can. So I've got to take a run down to the company that sells steel down in Middle River, Maryland. So I'm happy that these brackets are out of the way, but the next thing here is to clean up this rust, and I gotta get some degreaser, and then use that OSPO, which I put on last night on the back end, and that's all dry now. It turns like a black, and it transforms the rust, or the surface rust, to a hardened surface. So that's done. And these C channels, probably box them in, maybe up in this area on both sides, just so that the leaf spring points are stronger. I use the same OSPO phosphoric acid on the leaves, and they were all dry this morning. So then I put a coat of Rust-Oleum primer, and then I'll paint these black. And then I can also paint the frame. But before I do that back here, I've got to make a box section, move this bracket probably back, and I need to make a box of at least 20 by 24 inches for the new fuel tank. That's going to go in the back. And I don't know height-wise how I'm going to work that out, if it's going to be flush with the frame or raise it up some because the truck's going to be lowered and I don't want to be dragging a gas tank, if at all possible. I think it's 10 inches high, so yeah, we'll figure that out. So things are coming along, and so the next thing I'll do is get this front end cleaned up. Before I go too much further, I wanted to show you this. This is pretty much, this is the cross member is upside down, but I laid it in here just to show you basically how it's going to be aligned. So the instructions say basically align it with this hole center to center, and there's also the hole, my finger's on the hole where the bump stop was mounted. So that's the cross member will be in the center of that. But the thing I've got to do before I box in the frame up here is, you can see it, I've got to trim away, I don't know, maybe a quarter, 3/8 of an inch, and make it flush with this top rail. The top rail is the correct width. So I'll have to trim that bottom on both sides and then box in the frame. And then we should be good to go to begin mounting the cross member. Well, it's been several days later. I've been making this video probably for about the past 2 weeks. But I did decide to order the cross member and all the suspension parts from Speedway Motors for the front end. It's a Mustang II front end. And I'll show you what I have completed now. I'm gonna finish up this video, and it's been dragging on a little bit long, but in the next video I'll have the suspension for the front end. I'll show you how that has been going. And right now we have almost all of the cross member in. We boxed the frame. Got to finish welding all these on both sides. And my welder, I've been using it at 110. And I keep tripping a breaker. It's a 15 amp breaker. So I've got to rig this thing. This welder will handle 220 or 110. So I've got to get an outlet out in the garage to accept the 220, so I don't keep popping breakers. But anyway, so we got the boxed frame that was recommended before we put the Mustang II cross member in. We got the cross member in, and it is tack welded. I've got to finish welding around all the edges. The towers are in, tack welded. So they're looking good, and I did receive the other parts of the front suspension, so I dry fit some of these pieces. The holes for the lower control arms had to be drilled out a little bit larger because they're tubular. But we'll get into that, and I'll show you everything that that we have in that kit. Everything is there. It's great. Speedway is a great company. As far as the rear goes, We've got the leaf springs in. I bought some more clamps to clamp the leaves. And I'm going to be looking around for another rear end. The original 51 Ford pickup rear end just isn't going to do it. Because it's got the bolt pattern is a 5 by 5.5. So the wheels I'm putting on are not 5.5 inch spacings. So I'm going to be looking around for maybe a Ford 9-inch or something that was on Camaros. So we've got either a 4.5 inch lug spacing or 4 3/4. So, but that'll be coming up in the next video. So I'm going to end this here, and I want to thank you guys. Hope you guys got something out of this. It was kind of more of just showing what I'm doing, not really giving that much instruction. But hopefully, oops, I'm falling over everything. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you the details on, all the details of the front suspension, because there's a lot of pieces, and it's a nice package. So I wanted to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks.